Hello, as promised in my previous video, we are back in Canterbury. And as our wanderings take us past bars, restaurants and hotels, I'm going to tell you a tale of pilgrims. Let's start with a red-faced monk fond of drinking and hunting. A monk should spend most of his time inside a monastery, in prayer, study, and doing work necessary to the maintenance of the monastery. A monk should be humble and soberly dressed. In Chaucer's tale, the monk likes to spend his time drinking in taverns and hunting, rather than praying. He likes rich clothing, and even his horse is decked out with the best bridles and finest bells that ring out louder than the church bells. Not a great example of what was expected from the clergy in the Middle Ages. The monk moral corruption is eclipsed by the friar. And as Chaucer suggests, if a friar is heading your way, you better hold on tight onto your wallet. A friar should be humble, spend his time praying and working for the community. The friar in Chaucer's tale is always at work. He constantly uses his powers of persuasion to extract donations from the wealthy. He ignores the poor but has plenty of time for young, attractive women. And the money he collects, most often than not, pays for his lavish clothes and his womanizing. In the tales, the friar pick a fight with the summoner. A summoner in Chaucer's time was a particularly disliked character. The summoner's formal job description was to call on or summon to the ecclesiastical courts those suspected of breaking canon law. Over time, summoners turned into spies and snitches, and were not above making up evidence of bad behavior to extract more money from their victims. The summoner's silence could always be bought with lots of wine and a bag of coins. But let's take a break from the tales. This is the Beaney House of Art and Knowledge. The building combines Gothic revival with a touch of Tudor. The facade hints at the original purpose of the building as an institute for working men. Dr. Beaney made his fortune in Australia. He left money to his hometown Canterbury to build a place where people from poor backgrounds like himself could meet up, learn and share their experiences. Today it is a free library and art gallery. The summoner in Chaucer's tale is ignorant. He pretends to know Latin, the language of the church, but he cannot speak it or understand it. And as a sign of his moral corruption, he reassures his companions that forgiveness for their sins can be purchased. Indeed, the summoner's work often went hand in hand with the pardoner's. The pardoner sold indulgences, and at the time most people believed that indulgences bought you eternal forgiveness for all your sins. The pardoner's job was to deliver the indulgences. Only the Pope and bishops could grant them. The pardoner had no business in granting indulgences, let alone selling them for profit. The pardoner made money also by displaying relics for a fee. The pardoner in the tale claims to possess the veil of the Virgin Mary and a bit of St. Peter's fishing boat. In Chaucer's time, false relics were a big money spinner for many unscrupulous individuals. And here is the man himself, well, a recent statue of Chaucer dressed as a Canterbury pilgrim. I break my tale again to mention the Hospital of St. Thomas the Martyr upon Eastbridge. The Hospital of St. Thomas the Martyr was founded in the 12th century to provide overnight accommodation for poor pilgrims. Interestingly, the entrance is Gothic, but the round arch is in the Norman style. Across the bridge on the river Stour is the old weaver's house. The name comes from the Flemish and Huguenot weavers fleeing religious persecution during the 16th and 17th centuries. Elizabeth I granted the Flemish weavers the right to establish their businesses in Canterbury. At the rear you can see a pole jutting out over the river. It is supposed to be a medieval ducking stool. The ducking stool was used to punish scolds, unruly people. This stool is most likely a late Victorian or Edwardian mock-up. And by the way, the story that this stool was used to dunk witches is made up. Kidney pie with all the trimmings. Well, it's not lunchtime yet. Another religious figure in the tales is the prioress. She is elegantly dressed. She wears the finest jewelry, befitting a court lady rather than a nun. She is more interested in romantic love than being devoted to the Christ. She is charitable and kind, but mainly to animals. She feeds her dogs the finest foods, while the poor go hungry. This is Westgate, a medieval gate, but an older gate stood here. The first gate was built in around 300 AD by the Romans. The location was chosen because the river offered a natural defensive line. Canterbury, or Durovernum Cantiacorum, as it was known in Roman times, was at the junction of the route from the coastal towns of Dover, Richborough near Sandwich, Reculver and Lem. At Canterbury these roads joined up to become Watling Street. From here Watling Street went to London and continued to St Albans. Arguably the gate and the fortifications protected the most important road in the whole of Roman England. These towers were built in 1380 to replace the Roman gate. The gate was to serve as the main entrance to the town for the pilgrims, but also to repel possible raids by the French. Thank you for watching. For more content like this, please like and subscribe, that would be wonderful. I publish videos in English on Tuesdays, Italian on Wednesdays and Bulgarian on Thursdays. Thank you for watching, have a lovely day, bye bye.